It's Sisi and Melissa here. So today we have a super easy, quarantine-friendly little craft. For today, we are going to make these really cute bunnies.
You guys, we have the best Easter craft for you, quarantine friendly. You only need a few things that I'm sure you have at home.
Yeah, it's family quarantine fun.
Some family quarantine fun. We are going to make these adorable Easter bunnies that can be used as toys or Easter decor. We didn't really decorate much this year because we're not really going out, so this adds a little bit of fun and it acts as almost like a new toy too.
Yeah, I love these. I'm obsessed with them. And they're really easy to make.
So we were trying to think of what we could use to make a fun craft or a piece of Easter decor with very few items that we probably already have around the house. So we found some yarn that was just sitting around for years and years and years. Found a little bit of felt, a couple of beads, some fishing line, and a glue gun, and that is really all you need.
So let's get this craft party started.
Step one, take some cardboard and create about a 4-inch or larger circle and about a 2.5 to 3-inch circle. Cut out your circle. Then cut out a second identical circle. These are going to be our donuts to help us create our pom-pom shape. So you'll need one larger, about 4.5 inch or 4-inch, and a smaller size, about 2.5 inches or 2 to 3 inches, depending on what size you want your bunny's head to be. Now find a smaller circle, doesn't really matter what size, just something big enough to use as our donut center. I'm taking both mine at once. I'm going to cut a small slit there and just cut out the center circle. So now you have 2 donuts, and then we're just going to make a little bit of a wider cutout here. And this is what we will wind our yarn around to make our pom-poms. For a super easy cleanup, do this craft on a piece of cardboard. You'll thank us later. Take your 2 forms, it doesn't matter whether you choose to do your large or your small first, and put them together like this. Take some yarn. Any kind of yarn will do. We're just using a fluff. The fluffier yarn, the better, I think. Right, Sisi?
Yeah.
And then you're going to start wrapping the yarn around your form. Here you go. Okay. To make a really nice full pom-pom, you want to go up and down your form, back and forth, 5 to 7 times, or about 1 inch in thickness. So this is what 1 round of my yarn looks like, and this is what 1 round of Sisi's chunky yarn looks like. You want to now start going back the other way many times until you have about 5 to 7 layers, I would say, or about 1 inch thickness or better. When I get to the end, I like to flip mine. Something that will make cutting easier later is if you wrap lightly. No need to do it too tight, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Round 4. Here we go.
Ooh, we're on a roll.
4.
Uh-huh.
My Pac-Man's gonna eat your Pac-Man. Okay, so that's round 7 on Sienna's.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, and as you can see, hers is quite chubby now, so I don't think she could do many more rounds. So we'll stop hers there. Mine, on the other hand, my yarn is a little thinner, so I'm going to keep going. Now let's turn this into a pom-pom. Yay! So, leave a long strand here, a little tail, okay? And I like to just put that tail down the middle of my donut. Okay, this is the best part ever. So satisfying. Cut a piece of yarn. Oh. Okay, so cut a piece of yarn, probably 10 to 12 inches long. Okay, now you're gonna make sure that your ends don't fall off, and you're going to insert a very, very sharp pair of scissors down the center of your 2 pieces of cardboard and start snipping. Just remember to hold your center. And this is why the form makes it so easy. Okay, and then you're going to take
this yarn. I'm kidding.
Okay, so we've trimmed it. Now we need to take a piece of yarn. And I like to hold my finger in the middle so I don't lose any of these loose ends. And you're going to slide that piece of yarn, feed it through the 2 pieces of your cardboard. And you're going to tie a tight, fairly tight knot. Okay, I actually like to double mine to be safe. I'll go around a couple times. Just to be safe.
Yeah.
And then I usually take that little 3rd string that was the leftover tail from our pom-pom, and I tie that in as well. Okay, now that your pom-pom is secure, this is one of the best parts. You get to pull out the forms. Yay! And we have a shaggy pom-pom. We'll have to trim this up. Don't trim your ends. Keep those long ends for now.
I'm really bad at trimming.
Okay, here's a trick. This next part is really fun. This is where you give your pom-pom a haircut. Take your form and stick one on the top and one on the bottom. Tuck this little this long piece in the middle so you don't cut it. And then take a very sharp pair of scissors, and on your cardboard so you don't make a mess everywhere, you just start to give it a little haircut.
And also do this with a parent.
Oh, good idea, Sisi.
I'm not the best with scissors, so
You're pretty crafty. You're good with scissors.
I'm not good. I'm terrible with scissors.
Okay, so then I'm going to take my forms off, and then I'm going to trim the other 2 sides. So I'll put form back on the top, form on the bottom, tuck in our long pieces. Okay, floof it up. Look at this pom-pom. It's really coming to shape. Aren't they fun? I mean, you could make all sorts of pom-poms. You don't even have to make a bunny. If you want, you could just make pom-poms and hang them around, make banners with them, decorate your bag, give them to friends. So we're just giving this guy a little haircut. And another neat trick is, depending on your wool, if you want your bunnies to be extra, extra fluffy, you can take your 2 pom-poms once they're done and pop them in a dryer for a few minutes. Voila! This is the head of our bunny. Oh, spoiler alert!
Whoa, yours is so
Look at this giant fluff ball.
Mine's still the head, so I'm gonna make it giant one, just like yours.
Nice tight knot. And
We are...
set them free.
Woo!
So fluffy. Okay, let's give this guy a haircut. Okay, so now we're starting round 2. So we have a head for the brown guy, now we need a body. And we have a body for the white guy, and now we need a head. Okay, we have 2 pretty fluffy, thick pom-poms in the making.
This is an excellent craft.
Sisi, you crack me up. Okay, look at this guy, super floofy. Sisi, do you know any Easter jokes?
Oh yeah. Okay, here's one. Why is the chicken always so fit?
Why?
Because it exercised.
Okay, so now we should have
2 floof balls.
a small pom-pom and a larger pom-pom. This will be our bunny's body, and this will be our bunny's head. Let's make some bunnies. Take your small pom-pom and tie it together with your large pom-pom. Now, if you have little ones in the house, you may want to go even one step further and sew this together, but I find if I keep all of the tails, I can really tightly tie this, and I'll just do it a couple of times to be safe. And trim your ends. Voila.
Whoa, these are so cute, but they're missing something. Oh, I know. Let's put some ears on these bunnies.
Okay, so to make our bunny ears, we're going to trace out some felt. If you don't have felt, you could use fabric or paper. Anything will do. Okay, so first I'm just going to fold over my felt and loosely trace out a bunny-shaped ear. Now we're going to use some pink to make a slightly smaller inside of our bunny ear.
That looks really good. Take a glue gun and glue this part of the ear to this part of the ear. And remember, get a grown-up to help you with this.
Okay, so we glued the centers and then we just did a little pinch with some glue at the base of our bunny ear to give it some shape. You could even fold it over or whatever you like.
Yeah. And just one more thing. Hey guys, guess what? You're going to be turned into bunnies. Yay! Am I going to have a twin? Yeah, you are. She's right over there. Whoa! Wait, I can't see it. I have no eyes yet. Yeah, me neither. Wait, how are we talking? We don't even have a mouth. Okay, bye.
All right, let's get these bunnies some ears, eyes, noses, and tails.
The tail.
Our next step is to take your glue gun and glue the bunny ears in place. If you have small little ones at home, you may want to do all of the next steps with the needle and thread just to make sure no little parts are going to come off and end up in little mouths. We've glued our bunny ears into place and we've glued pom-poms as tails. Now we only had fluorescent and purple pom-poms, so we may do with those today, but I suppose white ones would have been really cute too. The next step is to find some little beads or little pom-poms or even buttons would work to make your eyes on your bunny. And again, if you have little ones, this is where you could just sew them in. that we've found that we can just glue gun our eyes into place. Okay, we've glued our little bunny's eyes in place.
And now we need some noses to brighten up their little bunny face.
So we have these little actually scented plastic beads or wooden beads. Again, a button or anything would work. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a bead with a hole, wrap some fishing line or some thread a few times around a piece of paper. Okay, now take your fishing line or thread off of your form, tie it in the middle with a little knot. Now patiently thread one chunky end of bunny ears into the bead. So put some glue with your glue gun on both sides of the bead. Once you've glued each end in place, you can snip your loops and trim your whiskers. And then glue your nose in place. So we've glued our bunny's noses into place, and I think they are all ready to have some fun.
Yeah. Bunny fun. I had so much fun doing this craft. They're so cute and fun.
Yeah, I have to say it was really fun to make. Even just making the pom-poms alone, we had so much fun. We even made one for our cat and put it on one of her toys and let her play with it. So whether you use these as a little Easter gift or some Easter decor on your table or just some stuffy fun, we hope you have a wonderful Easter with your families, and
Happy Easter, and like and subscribe and comment down below what you want to see us do next. Okay, bye everyone. Happy Easter.